My name is Chris. In a lot of the videos, you'll be hearing me called Papa Sprout. Often in our videos, we'll have another little one with us. We call him Little Sprout just to avoid using his actual name, one of our safety things for him. And my wife will be behind the camera because she's the only one of us smart enough to operate the thing properly. Say hi, Mama Sprout.
Hello.
So that's why you won't see her very much, if ever. Hopefully in the future I'll be smart enough that she can do some of her things, but for now it's just me and Little Sprout. We also have two other Sprouts, Big Sprout and Middle Sprout, but they don't like to be in the videos a lot. We're not going to force that on them. Our name is Lomah Acres Homestead. We on our homestead are doing gardening in the ground. We're doing container gardening also. We have honeybees that are off-site. And we'll be adding a few other things throughout the year until we can transition into our more rural, hopefully I pronounced that properly, homestead out in the country where we're allowed to have various animals that we want, such as chickens and maybe ducks, I'm not sure about that, but goats and cattle, etc.
Ta-da!
Ta-da. Oh, I guess we'd hope I have this, huh?
It would help.
I didn't even think about that. Hey, folks. Monday evening again. And our guests are in the Buckeye State. I can't ask for much more than that. They're about 2 hours, probably, from us.
Probably.
We're probably 2 hours from almost everybody.
Yeah.
Whether it's Southern or whatever. If you were at the HOA, you probably met them at the HOA. They had a booth. They were selling lotions and soaps and did very well. So we have Papa Sprout and Little Sprout with us tonight. And we also gained a sponsor today, as you can tell. So we will be giving away seeds. Oh, do we have seeds? So if you're ready to bring out our guests.
Well, before we do that,
Okay.
let's just talk a little bit about Baker Creek Seeds.
Well, let's go ahead.
So, Baker Creek Seeds has generously donated some seed packets for us to give away for our trivia questions. And we certainly appreciate that because it helps us. We still foot the bill on the mail, but at least we didn't have to buy the prize. So,
Yeah.
and Baker Creek Seeds are it's an outstanding company, an absolutely great company,
Great people.
great people, great company, and so we're sporting our hats. And having said all that, shall we talk to the guy that sold out of everything at the HOA that he took?
Well, I know that, and I don't think Jessica's in here yet, but I know that her son Johnny went over there 3 times and bought stuff. And not once did he come back with anything for Nana Sherry.
Well, it's my understanding that he drove home with an empty car, so
Oh, that's a plus.
that is a plus. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember his name?
Chris.
Well, I didn't know if we should call him Chris or just Papa Sprout.
You can call him whatever you want. He may answer.
He might.
You have to ask him.
Well, here he is.
Okay.
Say hello. You are live.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah, exactly. North Star.
Everyone.
Empty car, full wallet. Yep. Yep.
Close.
Yeah.
We
They
have a lot of tables and decorations that we had to haul back.
But it paid for you to be there at least, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
It really made us. We actually profited in that X amount of dollars went out to make the trip, and we made X amount plus a little bit back, and we could not be more thrilled by that.
Bev.
Of course, we're even more thrilled by the comments and emails we received. Some of the comments have been on people's videos that I've watched of the HOA recaps, and I've told them, hey, thanks for the video, or I agree with your thoughts or whatever, and their response is, oh my God, this product was so great. We can't be more happy with anything than hearing that. Even excuse me, that's even better than selling out, in my opinion.
What? You're supposed to be talking.
I'm supposed to be talking?
Yeah, it's your turn. I brought him in.
Well, I was
It's
I was busy getting the audio adjusted. So
is the audio adjusted,
I
folks?
think the
Is it
audio's
better?
adjusted better now.
Yeah.
So we had it a little bit strong.
Bev, which big lug am I supposed to kiss for you? That one next to me? Bev from our half acre in Canada.
Well, hi Bev, how you doing?
Bev, our half acre homestead in Canada, she was the first homesteading channel that I watched. So I have a soft spot for her. Oh, is blowing out your speakers? Okay, well, I hope
it should be fixed now.
Yeah, they're saying it's better.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
we just wanted to make sure everybody was awake.
Yep, Tracy, Mrs. Volpe, exactly. Mm-hmm. So what's the weather down there? And I don't even know if it's southern or south central or down there in Ohio.
I would think we're on the northern end of southern Ohio, or we're on the southern end of central Ohio, just depending on who you talk to. Here it's rained off and on all day. It started out fairly warm for this time of year, and then it has cooled off quite a bit. The rain's almost done for the day too.
Knock on wood, we didn't get any rain today, but it was beautiful outside.
It started out here pretty nice. I was able to go in and work this morning, and sometime about 1:30, 2 o'clock, we had to call it a day because the weather kicked in.
Farming our backyard, it rained here too. I guess just up here in the middle. Oh, there's Jessica. Yeah, Kara did buy a bunch of their stuff. You're right.
Our canopy an awful lot.
Take care, Bev. Jessica, J Love Adventures, just quickly want to say Daryl was dissecting day 2 of the HOA video, and the part where the 3 girls sat and sang, I don't think you were around. Johnny was behind me, and I forget what song they were singing, but it was Queen. They were singing a Queen song, and Johnny was behind me singing. That young man has a voice. Just wanted to let you know. Okay, on with the show.
Well, since we're calling her out, let me call her out too. My kids absolutely loved that apple butter. Unfortunately, I didn't get any of it, so I can't give it a review.
I haven't touched mine yet.
I did wind up getting a spoonful of it. It was pretty good. You might consider canning some of that up for next HOA and sell it over there.
Oh yeah, I think she should. All that stuff that she makes.
You just heard Little Sprout almost curse because he found out we were out of it.
One of the ideas was to split a table. I think that would be a good idea.
I could get down with that with somebody.
Yeah. Angel Cooper, I'm glad you enjoyed meeting Smudge. He will be in Kentucky 2 weeks from this past weekend. Right? Yeah. So the Stivers Homestead is having a meetup in Frankfort, Kentucky. Approximately maybe 500 are going to show up. So for first meetup, it's going to be pretty good. And Ohio is having one June 6, 2020 in Belmont, Ohio.
I think both of the mentioned gatherings are going to be a lot more than 500 people.
Yeah.
Well, it has certainly grown. I can remember the first fall gathering that we went to down in Mississippi.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of people. It was kind of a very quiet event, and it was hosted by Deep South Homestead at a park. There was probably 60 to 70 people.
Yeah, there weren't even 100 people there.
Yeah. It was very, very nicely done, though. Everybody had a great time. It was a partial day event. I mean, it was, what time? It got started about 10 in the morning or
10,
something.
yeah, 10 to 4 thereabouts. And the funny thing was, they didn't know we were coming because I told Wanda that we just couldn't make it. I mean, that's a 14-plus hour drive for us. We just couldn't do it. And we sort of snuck in there.
They were surprised.
To say
And
the least.
we had a wonderful time.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
so you're right, Brett. It sure did. I
But-
was hoping it was going to be on July 4th weekend next year, but you changed the date on us.
But anybody in the chat, if you have the opportunity to go to one of these meetups, one of these conferences, one of these events, anywhere close to you, do so.
Absolutely.
Go with an open mind. I keep hearing of more events all the time.
Yeah, there's one in Missouri now for next year.
Well, and isn't it this weekend? There's supposed to be one in Texas.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
it's just been absolutely crazy.
Morgan from Goldshaw Farm is asking, what is the origin of Lomah Acres name?
Loma is an acronym for Land of Milk and Honey. I guess little Sprout's going to say something. We came up with the acronym, actually, I don't know, 10, 11 years old, sitting in church one day, and we had a guest pastor. He was actually a member of our church, and our regular pastor was, who knows, on vacation or something. That's 30 years ago. I can't remember that exactly, but he gave his message on the children of Egypt, the children of Israel leaving Egypt, and how God had promised them Loma, and just went on preaching. And I don't know, 2 sentences later, he looked up, and of course it was planned. He kind of looked up like, y'all don't know what Loma, Land of Milk and Honey. And it just stuck. Again, with my wife making goat's milk and honey soap and us keeping bees, it fit. And that's where we got it.
That's cool. I like that. Life on Beagle Road, Papa Sprout, tell Rebecca I'm obsessed with the orange and cranberry soap.
I will pass that on to her. We just absolutely cannot tell you how good hearing stuff like that makes us feel. We want whatever product we put out there, whether it's soap, lotion, beard oil, etc. We want it to be the best product possible. And hearing that is confirmation of that's what we're doing.
Totally. And then she wants you to know that Kenny is thrilled with how often she's showering.
I'm glad we could have a positive effect.
There you go. That was cute. I love that.
Truth be told, I wish she could be sitting in the chat, to read that for herself, but I'm definitely going to pass that on to
Oh,
her.
yes, you need to. It was awesome seeing her there instead of behind. Well, we met her at Layman's, so we knew who she was, but it was nice seeing her there, getting out.
And as much as she doesn't want to be on camera, I've seen her in quite a few videos, but don't tell her.
Miss Sherry,
Yes, sweetheart.
Mom says thank you that you like her soap that you gave her.
Everyone likes her soap
Yes, sir.
and her lotions.
Well, speaking of her soaps and lotions, if somebody wants to buy some, how do they do it?
There you go.
We have www.lomahsoap.com. Loma, just like our name, SOAP singular.com. That's one way. Thank you for posting the link there. You can go to our Facebook page, either one of our Facebook pages, Lomah Acres Homestead or Loma Soaps and Sundries. It's a matter of sending a message. That said, y'all heard it right at the beginning. We're sold out of everything. And as far as soaps go, it takes about 4 weeks
Okay. Now I'm having a
for
hard
us
time hearing.
to cure them. So she just got the first batch made today. So the first batch is going to be ready 4 weeks from today. And the other items are a little quicker turnaround. That said, of course, we both have full-time jobs, and so, we can only get it up so fast. But we're thrilled that everybody's liking them, that's for sure.
Well, I hear she's been working all day today.
She has. She's made a double batch of lotions. I know she remade the whatever I call it's going to be wrong, but it's something to do with caramel apple that we sold out of over at the HOA, and she made a new batch of the Behave soap. That's the one that we have that's got our honeycomb on the top of it, and that's going to pop out of the mold, I think, tomorrow.
Cool.
But it was kind of late today that she got that in the mold, so it may be the next day, and then, like I said, 4 weeks from there, it'll be ready to sell again.
Okay. Legacy Home and Gardens asking, I'm not familiar with you. Can you share what you all do on your homestead?
Well, this year we didn't seem to do very much successfully. What we do for the most part is we are on a. Oh, I got to be careful what I say. I might be, I might be answering some questions. We're in a suburban area, so we can't keep livestock here. But I do have a place that I can keep bees, so I am a beekeeper, and we do in-ground gardening and some potted garden, some container gardening.
Loma also stands for land, milk, and honey.
Right. And we are we're not disciples. That's not the right word, but we follow Joel Salatin, and I watched one of his speeches called "Stacking Fiefdoms," and we kind of operate on that aspect. We're not perfectly following that plan, but for example, the Loma Soaps and Sundries is a fiefdom of Lomah Acres Homestead. Our YouTube channel, once it gets to monetization, if it does, is going to be a fiefdom of our homestead. And I am a construction worker off-site, but that's also going to be a fiefdom of our homestead. I hope that answered your question, because there's not a whole lot we can do, being restricted by zoning.
That's right.
But everything is a step.
There is a question here, Dutch off-grid homesteading, and I think he's in Netherlands. I'm trying to remember. Wants to know if you send to Europe, he'll pay extra.
We haven't yet, and I don't
Keep
know.
that in mind.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to costs on that, but
Holland.
if you will send an email, go to that website. Our email is right on the front page there, Rebecca@lomahsoap.com, and send her an email, and we'll figure it out if it's possible. Yeah, life on Beagle Road zoning. Yeah, I see that and I hear that, and it's ridiculous sometimes. But hey, I'm going to throw this out there, and Sherry and Daryl, if we need to cut the conversation immediately on that, you go right ahead and tell me. I will. but I'm all for, when appropriate, civil disobedience. I'm not. I'm not going to suggest or say to somebody that it's even remotely okay to go flying through a school zone. That's not appropriate civil disobedience. But when your government, whether it's local or all the way up to the federal level, is telling you you can't grow your own food or you can't have, nah, come on. Let's get beyond that. Let's correct that.
Well, and unfortunately, that is the case in a lot of areas. I mean,
Yeah.
they can't have a garden, or they're limited to hiding it away in a backyard behind a shed if your neighbor's 150 feet away from you.
There's a lot of places you can't have water catchment systems anymore either.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me, it's rain.
All of a
Give me a
sudden, the
break.
government thinks they own the water, and it's. I understand what you're saying. I believe we're on the same page here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. I just got to be careful, especially on someone else's channel.
I
I don't
understand.
want you guys to have a problem
Yeah.
because
Oh,
of
see,
what I
there-
say. And
Chipper's Family Adventures. It's illegal to collect rainwater from the roof where I'm at. That is just insane.
that's asinine.
Yeah.
And we the voters need to step up and correct our government and remind them they work for us, not the other way around.
Well, all right, very unpopular, but
Since Papa Sprout opened up the
Since-
floodgates.
since the gates have been open, some of these people that are disrespecting the President of the United States in the manner that they are, and I don't care who it is, I'd say this no matter who the president was, the way that they disrespect the President of the United States, they're the ones that ought to just move their bottoms to some other country.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter what political umbrella you're under. I mean, that's our president, period.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
that's, that we can stop it right there so it doesn't get into
Sure.
a,
Oh, look, I could talk
Pissing
all
match.
night long about politics, but
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Oh, so could Daryl.
I have no issue with peaceful protests. I have no issue with speaking up, signing petitions, etc., etc. But yeah, there is a point in time where I'm all for civil disobedience when appropriate, like I said. But there's a time where it's gone too far, and there's a lot of that's really over the last, well, since 2008, it's been from both sides. And yeah, I agree. We got to have respect where respect is due.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's one thing you need to respect. Exactly. Big Bear. That or the FBI will come in, right?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's let everybody just kind of mull over that for a little bit. Let's get a trivia time out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get the phone lines open up so people can call in and talk with Big Sprout here,
Yeah.
Papa Sprout, not
Papa
Big
Sprout.
Sprout, Papa Sprout.
Yeah, Lippy, you're right. If you vote, you have to respect the outcome no matter what.
So here we go.
And Big Bear, you and I still need to talk.
Well, hi, folks. It's
ahead.
trivia time again. And we have to have some rules for this, so they are as follows. Number 1, you can only win once every 4 weeks. Number 2, you must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it appears embedded on the screen here. Your chat window may have a different order. And number 3, you have to send an email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Send us your mailing address so we know where to send your winnings. Good luck.
Okay, and let me just reiterate a little bit here for Smudge, for those of you that might be here for the first time. The official order of chat is what you see embedded in the screen in front of you. That's what we have to go by. The order of chat on your computer is probably different from your neighbors. If you have different computers in your house, it may be different from each other. And that's just the way the internet works and the way the computers work as far as caching and lag and so on and so forth. So the official order, Chad, is what you see on the screen. So having said that, if everybody's ready for the first question, we hope you got your homework done here. Lomah Acres Homestead presently has 2 beehives. Each hive has a named queen. What is the name of either of those queens?
Okay, Hamilton. Okay, Hank. You're guessing.
What is the name of either of those queens?
Nope.
And it's not Esther.
Nope.
It is not Queenie. It's not Felicia.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
I'll say Gold Star Farm. That's a great guess because of one of the titles of one of our videos. It was definitely would take somebody to that.
Of course,
that
Big
name.
Bear. I knew you would do that. Hold on. Thomas Schmidt. Yes.
Thomas Schmidt.
Anne.
Thomas Schmidt. So, Thomas, please send an email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. And
The names are Anne or Victoria.
Ann or Victoria.
I hear you, farming our backyard. I do that when I try to talk to my one granddaughter. Instead of Celia, I call her Kara, which is my daughter's name. So
Okay. So the phone lines are open.
not Freddie Mercury.
Wrong queen.
That's right.
Wrong queen.
Nathan was asking you and had to do with soap. If you have, gosh, now I can't find
I
it.
saw it.
Did you see it about
dirt scented hunter?
dirt?
So
Yeah, dirt scented, exactly.
I will suggest that you go to the website, email my wife. She'll work something out with you. This is no joke. We had somebody request skunk soap for a hunters.
Oh
Well,
my gosh.
let me correct that. It was requested as a gag gift, but he did continue to use it as a hunter scent mask. We will, if it's possible to be made, she'll work it out with you.
There she is. Yes, she can make dirt scented soap. There you go, Nathan.
Making sales still.
Oh.
I didn't even think we were going to talk about this very much, but I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Really?
complaining.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just, like I said, I know Kara. Kara came back. She hit up quite a few booths when she was there. She spent the whole day Friday with Smudge. I think she went home with half of his hair on her pants.
She came over to our booth 3 times by after the third time. I told her, you got to bring mom and dad back next time. I know we're real careful about that. I mean, it'd be real easy to take $4 or $5
Yeah.
from a 6-year-old girl,
Yeah.
for example.
Oh, she had
And-
she had money to spend, and it was burning a hole in her pocket.
Yeah. Well, and her being a little bit older, we were okay to sell her
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
I had to send some kids away because they weren't with their mom or dad or
Right.
grandma, whoever, and I felt bad because I think they really wanted some lip balm,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just our morals. You
I
may
think up
not
to a
be too
certain
young to
age.
make that decision.
I agree. I totally agree. Up to a certain age, and I noticed one of the comments on Facebook on the HOA page where they were asking for ideas, for next year for people, speakers and that. And Big Bear, I will let you know I put you under the bus because I think you need to speak about predator control. Plain
Yep.
and simple. You need to be one of the speakers. There is a speaker there this year. I don't think they should be back, but that's my own opinion. Somebody asked if they could have babysitters or daycare. No, I mean, you go to something like this, I think, I'm sorry, and maybe it's my age, but if you bring your children, it's your responsibility to know what your children are doing. That's just me. And on to the next subject. Kilted Gardener, you need to make tomato scented soap to combat that skunk scent. I love it.
Unfortunately, that's a fallacy. We tried tomato on skunk for our dogs before, and that just didn't work.
Francine, exactly. Your hands can smell like the earth without needing a manicure. There you go. Just have to get the soap. Another opportunity for cheesecake. He didn't get any this year yet.
I still haven't got any yet.
I haven't made them since last April. I still have 2 of my springform pans in Arkansas.
Well, I would say that I'm only saying this because there's one of those big channels
Couldn't
in
happen,
here.
Morgan.
I couldn't eat a cheesecake even if you made it for me because somebody. Let me see if I can get this picture in here. Somebody's trying to get healthy, Big Bear.
Well, I do have a recipe for a keto cheesecake.
I'll take it.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm not following keto strictly, but it helps because of the way I'm eating now since my surgery. So, and Daryl doesn't have a choice because he pretty much eats what I cook.
We've done a lot of studying. Part of the reason I think many homesteaders are homesteading is to get healthier, and we've done a lot of studying on what kind of diets are appropriate. My wife and I did Atkins for a while, which is very similar, but just enough different than keto.
Right.
And we've looked at, well, my wife is a nurse, and she has a lot more smarts about what resources to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the resources we've looked at from like South Africa, their medical community is really doing a lot of studying on the keto diet and finding that like children with severe autism, for example, after about a year of following keto are going from nonverbal extreme autism to the point where you can tell that there's something wrong, but you don't even know for sure that it's autism. Blood sugar levels are getting better for diabetics coming off of insulin. Cholesterol numbers are coming into order. Alzheimer's patients who are in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's are seeing that reversed. Weight loss, of course, blood pressure getting under control, and so on and so forth. And we just decided that for us it works, and we haven't followed it every single day this year. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, from about the 1st of October until just a couple days ago, we spent time off of the diet because of traveling and whatnot. Right. And it's just easier. Mm-hmm. And I'm back on it now for a couple of days, and I'll tell you that my weight, I'm better than 40 pounds down since the beginning of the year. My cholesterol went from, oh my God, you need meds now, to actually it's too low. Blood sugar, my A1Cs went down from you go a millimeter higher, you're diabetic, to normal. So that's what works for us. And as far as health, so that's where we're at. And of course, we're doing as best we can to get the food out of our own garden, but it failed miserably this year, except for just a couple things. But I did use some of our peppers tonight in the dinner I made. So cool. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to launch into a big advertisement.
You're fine. Tonight's your show. And Cattywampus Acres, I totally agree. I mean, one diet isn't good for everybody. So, but
wholeheartedly.
Okay, and we have a phone caller. So caller, last 3 digits, 157. Hello.
Hello, it is me, Rashid Ahmed.
Ahmed,
how are you? How are you doing?
We are doing just fine.
I'm a little confused. The guy on the screen with the big beard, he kind of looked like a brother of mine I had a long time ago, but he stepped on wrong box and it go boom.
I survived.
And this cattywampus, what is that? I don't know anything about a cattywampus acre.
Oh, Lord. Yes, Ahmed returns. Yes. Yeah, he was at the HOA, if anybody, wants to know. He was like 3/10 up from us. Oh, Lord. So how goes it over there, Ahmed?
Oh, it goes okay. We try to, here in Baghdad, it's very hot.
Very hot, huh?
It's very hot. But I just want to say that I'm civil disobedient too. Except for over here in Baghdad, it gets you shot.
So I heard a rumor that you went bull walking this morning.
Say that again? What did you say?
I heard that you went bull walking this morning.
Oh, no, we went bull running. We were running with the bull.
Running with the bull.
Oh, yeah, he's a big guy. He chased us.
Oh, he chased you? I thought you were supposed to chase him.
No. He belonged to my Vietnamese friend from down the road. See, you got to go down to the back of the pasture. You got to go past 4 stumps, turn left, go over to the next 3 stumps, do a U-turn 3 times, and then go down to the stone and make a right, and then you'll be at his place. That's how the bull came. The U-turn throw everybody off.
I bet it does.
Some people only do 2, and then they wind up in Albuquerque, but you got to do 3.
All they got to do in Albuquerque is take a left, though.
There you go, Ahmed.
There you go. You got to make that left. You don't make the left, you wind up in Jersey with nuclear testing.
Oh, Lord.
So how is Ahmed doing this evening?
Ahmed is very tired. Bull wore Ahmed out.
And how did the bull wear you out, Ahmed?
Were you not listening?
I just wanted to make sure that you weren't lost on one of your U-turns.
Oh, no. Ahmed got U-turned down like back of hand. But, oh my goodness, communication barrier with the new Vietnamese neighbor and Ahmed, oh, that was not a good day.
Did you get it figured out?
Ahmed was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the bull? And then my neighbor was like, oh, I take a bull back to farm. And I try to find other cows. And then Ahmed was like, how many other cows are you missing? And Vietnamese guy, he was like, oh, so sorry. I miss 5 more cow. Very hard to understand. Other cows still missing.
So Ahmed, do you have any questions for Papa Sprout?
Papa who?
Papa Sprout, our guest tonight.
Oh, I thought it. Remember, been with Vietnamese guy all day. I thought you said Papa Squat.
No.
Did you figure out that some bears eat those 5 missing cows or something?
Whoa.
Oh, no bears in the area. No, not here in Baghdad. We got a lot of camel. My question is, where is the little Sprout?
They want to see you, little Sprout. He'll be right on momentarily. Come on over. There you
Is that
are.
a reason why the big bearded guy keep leaning into the screen? He expect me to kiss him in ear or something? What is going on?
You never know. No, I'm having a hard time hearing it, but I just figured out how to turn my volume up. I'm kind of not the most technologically advanced person here.
Oh, I thought you were making fun of accent. I'd be like, discrimination! You discriminate against my accent.
Not me.
Not me.
Hello, little one. How are you doing? Hi from Baghdad.
Hi from Ohio.
Hi.
From Ohio.
From Ohio.
Ohio. So I understand that you, little sprout, you hugged Mama Bear from Big Bear Homestead before you hugged on Mama. See, I've been hanging out with Vietnamese guy all day. Accent starting to cross.
Ahmed, is your family being are they laughing their tushes off over there, or are they just, in bewilderment by your conversation?
Oh no, it's Monday. They in bomb shelter. Every Monday go to bomb shelter and we play Parcheesi.
Cheesy.
Is there something we need to know about Mondays and then here, in reference to bomb shelters?
Yes, on Mondays in Baghdad, you don't go outside. Very bad day for everybody.
Goldchar Farm, Morgan, he does seem to have a little bit of a Georgia accent.
Oh no, Georgia in Russia.
Georgia in Russia.
They drink a lot of vodka over there.
It's like the funniest jokes.
Oh my goodness.
See, I got questions. How come you never have Ahmed on your show? You afraid to have Ahmed as special guest on Monday night?
Afraid of that Arctic.
Well, I thought that you had indicated that you didn't want to be seen and just heard.
I cover face. I cover face. I don't know if I can make a whole hour with face covered, but
I see.
I thought just the females did that, Ahmed.
There you go. That's
oh
what
no,
I
I go incognito.
I don't even want to know.
So this means you're coming in drag or what?
Oh no, we don't go. We don't. No, you get stoned over here for that, man. That's not funny.
We'll throw you off a building for that.
Ahmed and his goats. Ahmed doesn't have goats that I know of.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that one.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
But he does have a kilt.
Yes, Ahmed does have a kilt. He didn't wear it. He hasn't worn it out.
Well, he hasn't.
Ahmed does have a kilt because Ahmed went through a Braveheart stage.
Well, Ahmed hasn't come out yet. That's why.
Is he still in the closet? Is that what it is?
Listen, Ahmed, are you going to,
Oh my goodness.
any of the upcoming events? For example, the Shindig or the Ohio Homesteaders Buckeye Sizzler, anything like that?
Ahmed, I think that was for you.
Oh, that was for me. We will be in Shindig. Did not hear about Ohio one. Don't know about Ohio one.
You did too. That's all right. We'll get you the information. And if we work it out that we can go to one together, I challenge you to wear your kilt and I'll wear mine.
A kilted gardener wore his.
Yeah,
But I'm going to say I'm a true Scotsman
well,
and I dress accordingly.
and we have the kilted gardener is in the chat, and Josh is another one that wears kilts on occasion.
Yes, but have you seen the man's legs?
Well, yeah,
Well, we didn't have a choice to see them.
that's what lit up the
You
entire.
can see them from Baghdad.
Yeah, that's what lit up the area for the live stream.
Oh, you have no idea. Casper even looks at Josh and says, "Those are white legs."
Life on Beagle Road. That's it. Kenny's getting a kilt. Gonna have a kilt off.
We could change it from Buckeye Sizzler to the Kilted Sizzler.
Oh, something would be sizzling, that's for sure. Oh.
All right. So anyway, somehow it got in there. Yes, Ohio is going to have a meetup next year, June the 6th. I think the link was placed in there.
Yes.
And rumor has it that there may be Ahmed coming.
Ahmed?
Ahmed.
Ahmed or Ahmed?
Ahmed.
I am Ahmed. My cousin, that's Ahmed. He's not fun to be with, though. He's very crabby.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one either because there's a lot that could be said for your cousin.
All right.
Oh, and another thing, we cannot fly. That's very bad juju. They stop us every time. They don't let us on plane. I don't know why.
You don't know why?
No.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. So
I just gotta ask, how many times have you pulled the string and it's not went off?
Oh, no, me never pull a string.
Not even by accident?
Button, push button. Nah, that happened a lot of times.
Sherry is rolling on the floor. She has fallen down in her seat here. Oh my goodness.
We tried to put one in sneaker. That didn't work either.
Ahmed paybacks are you know what. I'm telling you, kiss my grass acres. Oh Lordy.
Ahmed, I just want to say I'm looking for an email back from you to set some details on some stuff so we can move forward with that thing.
Oh, that's all. Isn't
It looks like I think Sherry's made it back up. I don't think she's going to stay up for very long.
I need to get a drink while I can. Oh, there's a box over here, Angel. Farming our backyard. Yeah, you can follow this act. Oh.
Yeah, farming our backyard. Feel free to call. It's just to prove we don't solicit the calls. You know, we don't have to pay for the humor. So what?
I'm not even going to ask that. Kiss my grass acres. No way. No. He can read it if he wants.
They just like the all beef hot dogs. That's all.
So Papa Sprout, what are your plans for 2020 on your property?
To get off of it. No, I'm just kidding. We're going
I'd like to do that.
We're going to expand the garden that we had this year to take it up to a full 1,200 square yards. Probably going to. I got to look into some things, but I'm going to try to figure out an automatic watering system such as soaker hoses, or I may just be lazy and do a hose with a sprinkler on it so that if we have weather again like we had this year, I don't have to worry about toting buckets of water out.
Today is the.
I'm going to continue to companion plant, do an early garden, do a kind of mid or full summer garden, and do a late garden. Going to continue with bees off my property. We are owners of chickens. However, they're not kept on property. I don't even take care of them. I just happen to own them. I'm going to take the bucket that I got from Farmer Brad at the HOA down there and to where the chickens are kept and get those kind of, shall I say, updated. That's probably not a good way to explain it. I just don't know how else to say it.
my cousin actually keeps chickens. I was doing a job about 2 years ago, and it was on a farm. The husband, or the farmer himself, had actually passed away, and the wife was kind of shutting the farm down, and she was heading to Florida for the winter, and she gave us all her chickens. So they wound up down at my cousin's, and like I said, I don't really take care of them. I'm going to get back into those a little bit. We want to expand. We want to move into a more traditional a traditional definition of homestead, or what most people think of when you hear homestead. We want to move more in that direction every year. So that's our steps for the coming year, just on the property.
Dad, you were close to years old.
Okay, I am.
99 years old.
We also are planning on going back to the HOA, for example. My wife is making soap, as has been mentioned a couple times, to take back over there, but we want to move into some more events as well, and we're adding to that line. That's probably not the right way to say it. I'm going to add some of my skills to that, making little woodworking things, and one of those things we want to add in is a bowl. I'm going to make wooden bowls, and then she makes the shaving soap, and I'm going to try to link up with maybe another homesteader to get some beaver hair, if I could figure out some trappers. I'm not going to mention Big Bear's name or anything, because I don't even know if they have beaver down there where he is or not, but get some beaver hair to make beaver hair brushes, and then sell the bowls, shaving soap, and the brush as a set, and things like that.
I think they do, if I'm not mistaken.
We got a lot of people down here.
I knew he was still here. Yes, they had.
Lot of people.
I've
Lot of
heard-
people smack you on tail with tail.
I couldn't make that out. I'm sorry.
Well, they have a lot of beaver down in down where Ahmed is at.
I'll have to get with Ahmed and figure out getting some beaver hair from him, if that's even a possibility, and we'll get some. So the point is we're expanding homesteading, not just what we already do, but adding things to what we do. And I don't know, I may try to teach some classes somewhere or something. I don't know if any of the places have spots left, but I don't want to just be self-minded. I know that, as has been mentioned in here and in a lot of the videos I've watched about the HOA, for example, the growth in this community is massive, and there's a reason. And why not go out and help people, not just do some YouTube videos, which, I mean, it's a great medium, but it's not everything. And if we can do things face to face and teach people that, I think that'd be great. So it's self and help, if that makes sense. That doesn't sound like a question. That sounds Sherry typing away on the keyboard over there.
Oh, you don't hear me typing.
I heard somebody banging something.
Yeah.
So
I think.
Oh, that is me. I'm working on our next big project.
is it a bull gate?
No, it's about Office 365.
Take that back, put it on the refrigerator, please. So yeah, that's kind of my plans. I will let my wife answer in the chat there if she has any plans to add. I know she's going back to school to get her graduate degree, and so that's probably going to take a lot of time from any expansion for her. But she is going to continue with the soaps and lotions and the amazing beard oil. Look, I don't know if y'all saw me at the HOA, my beard was kind of drying out a little bit because I wasn't allowed to use our beard oil because we only had so many left to sell, and we wanted to keep them available to sell. So thankfully, that's one thing we didn't sell out of, and I was able to use it today for the first time, and my beard looks amazingly different just from yesterday to today, and it feels a ton better. So.
How does it feel? How does it feel?
Okay, well, let's
I'm not reading enough of this chat to keep up with that, but that looks
You
scary. About
you
that
had beard oil at the HOA?
Yes, sir.
Oh, listen, it sounds like Jason from Georgia.
yeah.
When did he call in?
I don't know when he called in, but that's who it sounded like.
Look, I just smacked Ahmed out the room when I heard beard oil, and I'm wondering why Robin didn't go over there and get some, because she was promising me that she was going to get me some beard oil.
I'll tell you what, if you will, at your convenience, get on that email that I sent you and send us a mailing address. We'll work something out and get you
Awesome.
some. I hope you like the smell of the
Love you.
leather. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Huh?
He wants some beaver hair.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. I'm gonna hook you up with that.
All right, maybe
Because
we can.
my one, Sherry and Daryl know who I'm talking about. My one very special neighbor, the one that I told you told me I couldn't go back to that beaver pond for a couple of years for a certain reason.
Yes, sir.
Okay. He came today, and he was ready for me to go trapping over there again. And
Were they
so I
all-
guess everything has decomposed,
Mhm.
and he was ready for me to go trapping over there again.
Okay,
And,
we have.
So I guess everything has...
All right, I unmuted another caller, but your sound is turned up. So caller.
I just turned it down.
Okay, here we go. Go ahead.
Hi. This is Jerry from Farming Our Backyard.
Hey,
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
Hi. I was just calling in to say hi to Chris and hi to Sherry and Daryl.
Well, hi, Jerry, and I'm going to say it again. Thank you so much for finding my kid for me over there that day. I was scared.
You had a heart attack.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Thanks to you, sir.
He almost did there, a little sprout. He sure did.
I knew.
Well, I was just glad I could help, so. I would want someone to do the same if my kid came up missing, so.
And I can't pay anybody to take my kids.
Oh, yes, you can.
I knew that.
Yeah.
You know, we're in a good, safe place as a whole over there at that conference, but just at the same time, the one person that gets in there that is not whole, you know, doesn't have wholesome intentions. And when my kid come up missing, oh my goodness.
Yeah. No doubt.
But thankfully, we had a lot of people that just dropped everything and went to looking for him. Jerry was one of them, and Jess, J Love Adventures, your kids jumped on it right now, and Sherry, I think you jumped on it too. I don't know that for sure because
Yes, I did.
I happened to find you back at the same place, but I think you pretty much got
Yeah.
up and moved. And
Sure did.
it was
Yeah,
just.
I think everybody circled around. I know we got Carol and Dessa and the Vincent kids and Roots and Refuge kids. Everybody was spread out, and everybody was looking for them.
Well,
I almost got beat up by another mom because her kid had a similar shirt on, and I was trying to get the kid's name, and she come out of nowhere and like almost kung fu kicked me in the face because I was talking to her kid. It was kind of scary for a second there.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those, you know, it's a safe place, but then is it really? And just to everybody who helped in the slightest way, those I know, those I didn't know that were helping, that may see this, thank you from the bottom of our heart, and that falls woefully short.
I was just glad I could help. So, what's the thing that you're most excited about planting next year?
Peppers
Can
again.
I be bluntly honest?
No, lie about
We
it.
haven't lie about it. I want to plant bacon seeds.
Wait a minute.
Bacon
Bacon seeds?
I couldn't hear that. Little
Did
Sprout
you
was yelling
say
at me.
bacon seeds?
I did.
Wait a minute. Wait. Did you say bacon
Yes,
seeds?
you asked that 3 times, and he said yes 3 times.
Piglets.
I think Jason down in Georgia can help him with bacon seeds.
The problem is, unfortunately, that's one of the many animals plants I can't grow here.
Right.
I am very excited to plant a lot of things. I don't have exact plans for what we're going to grow individually, but I know we're going to grow whole meal gardens. For example, we're going to grow the obvious salsa garden, but we're going to grow a pizza garden. We're going to grow a pasta garden. What? Everybody says, what's a pasta garden when I say that? So that's why I asked that question. We're going to grow a garden area that is specifically for a whole pasta dinner. Well, wait a minute. What are you going to use for pasta? Spaghetti squash. And then the tomatoes and the oregano and basil and whatnot so that we can make our own sauce for it and things like that. So, oh, excuse me, guys. And then we're going to the pizza garden. We're going to grow some of the vegetables that you would see on a pizza. Now, we are not going to go as far as growing wheat and milling it down to make our pizza dough, for example. But it is something that we want to do. I'm sorry, I just reading the comments and people are still all about the bacon seeds.
They are.
I can't believe nobody else has heard of that. And I don't know, I don't want to step on toes, Sherry and Daryl, but I want to turn those whole meal gardens into a collaboration. I mentioned that on the live I did a few days ago. So I would welcome emails to our Lomah Homestead Acres. It's been a long day. I would welcome emails or posts to our Lomah Acres Homestead Facebook page if you're interested in getting involved in that for next season. But to narrow it down to one specific thing, I just can't.
We'll get down with that with you. I'll do some collaborations with you on it because we've done a pizza garden. We did a pizza garden last year, and a couple of other basically because the pizza garden and the Three Sisters and all that, those are all companion planting styles of gardening for when you're in a raised bed or something. So yeah, I'm game. Count us in.
Sounds
that'd
great.
be cool to do.
Did Jerry just say something there? I'm sorry.
I said that would be a cool collaboration. We'd be interested in doing that too.
Well, that sounds great. There's a good start to one.
You got a few of them on here, Chris, that want to get in on it with you.
That sounds great, guys. I'll probably look for me to put out an initial video on that in February. I think that's late enough that people will remember, but it's early enough that people can start planning it and make it happen, at least in the United States. If we happen to have some people, for example, from Australia, well, they have to wait till the next year round, or you can start it for all I care.
This is on FOX.
I need you to turn that off, sir.
Okay, well let's get another trivia time in here real quick. Everybody can kind of recoup a little bit and figure out where they're going to get their bacon eggs from, or bacon seeds.
Oh, see, your wife wants yarn seeds. I bet your Robin wants yarn seeds also.
All right.
I'll take yarn seeds.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hey,
Well,
I got 2 merinos that I'm looking to get rid of. 2 merino ewes. If I can't find anybody to take them off my hands, we're going to end up eating them. And all you need is a ram. Our ram got bit by a rattlesnake and died last year. And everybody around here must bump their head or smoke crack or something because of what they're trying to sell rams for around here. And we're just trying to get rid of them. So I'd let them go pretty cheap.
We'll have to keep that in mind if we can find a place to keep them. Let me research into that here quick and get back with you.
Okay, let me bring Smudge out here. We'll get this other trivia question in, and they're out of the way for the evening, and we'll see if we get any more phone calls, and everybody just kind of hang tight here.
Well, hi folks, it's trivia time again, and we have to have some rules for this, so they are as follows. Number 1, you can only win once every 4 weeks. Number 2, you must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it appears embedded on the screen here. Your chat window may have a different order. And number 3, you have to send an email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Send us your mailing address so we know where to send your winnings. Good luck.
Okay, so again, just to follow up on what Smudge says, because we do have some new folks in here this evening. The official order of chat is embedded on the screen in front of you. That's what we have to go by. So that is where we will determine whoever answers the question first. The chat on your computer or tablet or phone or whatever could very well be and probably is in a different order. So the official order is what is embedded on the screen here. The question for the next trivia is, how much land do we presently homestead on? How much land do we presently homestead on? J Love Adventures. J Love Adventures. 1/4 of an acre.
There you go.
All right.
Hey, Michigan Mike, long time no see.
Okay. J Love Adventures, please send an email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Include your mailing address, and we'll go from there. Well, we still have, we have 3 on the phone. We've got Jason and Ahmed and Jerry. So.
You're right, Angie. You weren't even in the ballpark.
And the phone lines are open.
I'll say Angie's Pantry. I would love to be able to move to something like that.
Not us. 2 acres, 3 acres. I just don't want neighbors right next to me.
No.
Well, and one of the other things that would be very nice is to be in a place where they don't change the rules on you.
Yeah.
If you don't want me to flick, you don't turn my show
Well, that would be nice. And speaking of changing the rules, in the state of Ohio, for the several Ohio channels that are on here, I would suggest you look up House Bill number 124. I'm 99% sure that's the number on it. It is a bill that is presently sitting in committee, and it's been sitting in committee since January, doing nothing. It is a bill that tells the localities in the state of Ohio, hey, you can't stop people from having non-nuisance animals, such as. And then it delineates if they have a certain amount of land, for example, 1 acre, this person has to be allowed to have a minimum of 20 chickens, 20 rabbits, 3 goats. And then it prorates up and down based on the amount of
acreage or land you have. And I think I just strongly suggest that, again, for those in Ohio, get on with your representative, research this bill, and ask them to act accordingly. I'm not going to sit here and ask you to ask them to vote to pass this bill. I want you to research it yourself and act accordingly. But as we talked about political type stuff earlier, get involved. And that's one way, especially as it relates to homesteading. Let us be homesteaders. I can understand saying that I live in a subdivision and I can't have a rooster, because at 2:30, I've heard some people say about their roosters in the morning, we don't want them crowing and waking up the neighbors. But why couldn't we have some egg layers, and as long as we keep our area clean, etc. So I just suggest you guys look at that bill, research it a little bit, and ask your representation to act accordingly. And I'm sorry, I feel like I haven't brought much attention to your channel, Sherry and Daryl, but I do thank you very much for having me.
This is your night, not ours.
Yeah, we're not doing this for us. We're doing this for you.
This is your night.
Well, okay. Well, I appreciate it just all the more. We've had a lot of fun in here. We've had a lot of fun at the HOA and meeting people, and I appreciate Ahmed calling in, and Mr. Jason and Miss Jerry. Thank you all for calling in. You guys have been a lot of fun. And, well, Angie's Pantry, there are ways around all of that stuff. I want to plug Joe Salatin's got a conference coming up in Cincinnati. I don't remember the date, and I don't even remember the name of it, but I could throw a link out there at some point on my page. But with every rule that the government puts out, there's a way to circumvent it. Not stepping over and breaking the law, that's not what I'm talking about. But going rogue and doing what you want to do and still staying within the law. One of the things, like in the state of Ohio, raw milk sales is not allowed, but we can still go get raw milk and not be doing it illegally. So I hear you on the not being allowed to have any livestock at all. I'm in the same boat, but that doesn't mean I don't have it. Again, where appropriate, civil disobedience is fine, and grow your own food. Are they really going to take you to task over it? And if they are you ready to fight for it?
And unfortunately, there are places that will take you to task. There are individuals that are in the local governments that will take you to task, and it can be overwhelming at times. But I think this is where the homesteading community just needs to come together and back everybody up.
Absolutely. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. You've definitely worded it a lot better. We definitely need to back each other up and
I don't know that this is a I don't know that, and perhaps it's going to take something like Homesteaders of America to initiate this, where there's some sort of help available for the little person, so that they know what kind of grounds they can really stand on without. I mean, you got to talk to an attorney, and they tell you, well, your first meeting's free, and then they'll tell you, well, okay, you can come back next week, and it'll be
right
$250 an hour.
Right. Yeah. And that's a shame. Maybe we could find some lawyers out there who are homesteaders.
I'm sure.
The best thing to be able to do is to try to find, maybe get Homesteaders of America to start take with their memberships that they have and turn it into a kind of like an association. Like the Georgia Trappers Association and National Trappers Association, each state has its own Trappers Association. And basically what the main concept of those associations are for is to protect the rights of trapping. They get together and they discuss laws. They talk about, okay, well, Peter's trying to go after the foothold again or trying to go after the conibear again. And so then they pull their resources together and they send out mass emails to everybody in the association to be able to contact their elected representative to be able to kind of basically tell them, you vote for this and X amount of people are not going to be voting for you, so you're automatically going to lose those votes. Because at the end of the day, that's what it really comes down to, is you got to grab a hold of that politician's tree and you got to shake the mess out of it until he starts paying attention to us. Because with us, we can't match, like we couldn't go toe-to-toe with somebody like Monsanto in order to be able to stop Monsanto from financially pushing a law through. Where we're able to stop a big corporation like Monsanto or anybody that has deep pockets is going to be the flat out numbers that you can grab a hold of a senator. I almost said something bad right there. Got to come up with a different average. You're able to grab a hold of that senator by his pinky toe and make him squall because you done pulled a big portion of his constituents together, and we're saying, look, you can go ahead and do the Monsanto thing if you want to, but don't plan on being reelected. And the person that we're going to put in there after you is going to be the guy that's going to go after that law and get it changed back.
That's a good point, and that's really what we need to do. Definitely locally, but we need to move that way nationally as well. Of course, I'm all about local law being supreme. I mean, look at what the Constitution says. But yeah, I agree with you, and that's really a great idea. I just don't know how to go about organizing it, or I'd already be all over it.
Well, what you'd have to do, the very cool thing, just sitting here just talking about this, the very cool thing would be is for somebody like Amy and Nunda to get together and start a Homesteaders Association, and make it like the National Homesteaders Association, and get that going. And then each state does the exact same thing, like the Trappers Association did. And then each state starts their own homesteading association. Because, for me, I'm a lifetime member of the Georgia Trappers Association. I'm also a lifetime member of the National Trappers Association. And what my dues go through, and you make it a nonprofit organization, you'll have to elect leaders, especially in the state levels, because Homesteaders of America, if they started the National Homeowners or National Homesteaders Association, they would not be able to help protect every homesteader in all 50 states. That's where your state association comes in. The national branch would be more going after the big federal laws that may come down, because sooner or later it's going to come down the pipe where they're going to start wanting to tax you on collecting rainwater, or they want to stop everybody from collecting rainwater, or they want to stop composting toilets, or, anything else.
Well, that's
if we had an association like this, I bet you Monsanto would have to back up and punt a couple of times with some of their lawsuits that they take on farmers because of drift or raccoon poop or whatever that brought their patented seed, which I think is an absolute joke. How can you patent life? But that's an argument for a completely different live stream. But the Amy and Nunda's part of being in like a national homesteaders association, they would have watchdogs to watch for federal laws. You, my friend, would have to get with like Daryl and Sherry and a couple of other. There's some very active homesteaders in your state, bro. We met them at the Meyer Hatchery get together, and they're pumped full of energy. And you guys could get a Ohio State Homesteaders Association started within a month and get all the paperwork in, make it a nonprofit, and then you guys will start gaining steam and start growing to the point where if any of those laws that you guys don't like up there, you can go to those elected officials and say, look, cuz we're 500 strong or we're 1,000 strong and we're coming after that law. We want it gone. If you won't work with us, we're going to vote you out. And that gets their attention very quickly.
I agree with you, Jason, but and maybe I'm not seeing this through the same glasses you are. I'm not so concerned with the state laws as I am with local laws. To me, it's the local areas that are saying, "Oh, you can't collect rainwater. We control it. You can't have an animal. We control that." So it's going down to your local.
Your state associations also help with those, because you'll have what we have, like with the GTA, we have directors, and they're kind of the watchdogs in certain, like when I was a director, I had like 3 or 4 counties that I had to watch over. And if anything crazy came down the pipe, if some mayor or somebody was trying to outlaw a certain trap or anything because of nuisance wildlife work, or he was just so far left that he just thought animals had more rights than people, we would get together. I would start getting the information out. I would start putting flyers and stuff out. The association paid for it all. And then we would get and have kind of like a mini town hall, and you would basically look at the guy and say, you can do it if you got to be blunt with him. You can do this if you want to, but I'm telling you, you're going to be a one-term dude, because all of us here will vote you out. We don't want it. And if you get a bit large enough number and they still go forth and try to do it, you can call for, it's called, it's about confidence, lack of confidence in leadership or something like that. You can call for a vote, a specialty vote, and you can bounce them out right then and there. You can do that on any level.
Well, yeah, you're supposed to be able to. Before we go any further, let me just address somebody in the chat here. They're asking about chicken hatcheries, whatever, as far as recommendations. I know of 2. It's Meyer and McMurray. Those 2, we've heard good things about both of those 2. If anybody in the chat has got other names out there, but those are 2 good ones that I've heard of. One is in Ohio, and Jason, do you know where McMurray Hatchery is?
No, I just started communication with them.
I think they're in Iowa.
Yeah, I was gonna say Iowa. I know it's one of the I states.
Well, I know they were at the Homesteaders of America conference, and very, very nice individual, very well spoken. They just seem like a good outfit. And I know there was a lot of people there that do business with them, and they seem to like him. I know you've done business with Meyer Hatchery, and we've heard good things about them, except for maybe a turkey or 2, maybe. But
they are in Webster City, Iowa. You're right, Jason.
So, okay, so I'm back off of that, and I don't know where to go with the discussion as far as local, state level, national level, but I know that I get real upset with the local level here hollering at me about whether or not I can have wood chip mulch sitting alongside my driveway.
That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, yeah. As
Uh,
far as sending you registered letters you have to sign for, and if you don't get it taken care of, they'll take you to court.
that is absolutely
Well,
ridiculous.
well, and the worst of it is, not only will they don't really even need to quote unquote take you to court, because what they'll do is they will hire, or they will tell some of their county workers or whatever, go pick all this stuff up, and we're going to pay you your normal county wage, whatever it might be, $10 to $12 an hour, but we're going to assess that property owner $50 an hour or whatever it may be, and we'll just tack it right on their taxes. So then you have an additional lien on your property. It's absolutely insane, but that's what it's gotten to.
We have a corner lot, and we live in a
We live
allotment.
It's called a plotted subdevelopment.
Okay, so we live on a corner lot. 2 years ago, Daryl got the rototiller out and dug up on the corner, so I could plant some iris all around the corner. Thought that'd be cool. You know, they sprout in the spring.
Well, there's a big drainage hole there.
Yeah. Well, 2 years in a row, as soon as they start coming up, they come with their big tractor and they mow them down. Yeah. That's why I want to move.
And of course, you know, I understand easements and all that. It's not like it's not taken care of. It's not like it's not flowers around the edge of the road there. But that's the way it is.
Living in the city in an allotment. Yeehaw.
Well, what
Yeah,
needs to happen is
Angie,
about
I do hang
150
out on the
homesteaders, families need to get together somewhere and just make their own town, and buy land right next to each other, make their own town, and then they can make their own rules. I've been seeing that meme go around Facebook. It's a good idea, but I don't think we could. I don't think too many people want to leave where they are. They want to homestead where they are, but I could be wrong. But I like Jason's idea, and I'd like to know who some of those homestead channels were. I know a couple that were at the hatchery when they were up. Wasn't me. Good Lord, I totally forgot it was even that date until I saw everybody's videos. I was like, oh, it's already that late in the year. I like the idea. It's something to consider. That said, for now, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And what are they going to do about it? As long as I keep my neighbors happy, I think I'm in good shape.
Well, but sometimes the neighbors could be your worst enemy.
Well, I agree with that. And like I said, I'm going to keep my neighbors happy.
I just in a very, very quick example. Next door to where we live, the fella there got married just a couple years ago. He's as nice as can be. She is
A witch with a capital B.
Yeah, witch with a capital B. And I go out to burn some scrap wood. She's calling the fire department. It's legal for me to burn where I'm at, but now the state of Ohio has changed the laws, and in order for me to burn here, it has to be like a campfire. So it has to be contained in a burn area. It has to be no more than like 3 by 4 foot. And that's because we are in a plotted subdevelopment, even though we're outside of town.
Is that all year round for you? Or
Yes. Yes.
Because I was going to say, I know that.
No, it didn't used to be.
In the state of Ohio, this time of year, every day, there's no open burns. But I get that frustration, because we had something similar happen here.
But 6 years ago, you could burn open all you wanted.
Again, government run amok.
Yeah.
But we just I like the band together idea. I mean, to me, that I didn't hear it worded like that. I've only been to one major homesteading event. It was the HOA. I met you guys and a couple other channels up at Lehman's a couple of different times.
Yep.
And the theme of the HOA that I got was present at Lehman's, of course, but it's just on a much bigger scale over at the HOA, and that's community. Well, what is community other than sticking together? I think that that's a great idea that Jason had. I don't know that I have enough sway with anybody to suggest that. Like, for example, Amy and Linda, who am I to them? But I think it's a great idea, and maybe some of us could start working on that, at least on an Ohio level. I don't know who some of those channels were that were at the hatchery, but if any of you guys who are in here were there, I know Two Family was there, and I know J-Love was there.
Okay.
But any of the other channels,
Let me bump in here just for a second. We've got another caller here. Caller, last 3 digits, 267. Hello?
Yeah, that's Amanda from Albany Mountain Homestead.
Amanda.
Hi, Mama Jerry.
How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to just call in real quick, talking about, these ridiculous restrictions so many communities are putting on their residents. I mean, we went from living in a pretty casual city to the HOA system, and honestly, the HOA system, and I'm not talking about Homesteaders of America, I'm talking Homeowners Association. I mean, it got down to what color you were allowed to paint your door.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And if you deviated from that, then you were going to have all kinds of hell to pay. Mm-hmm. And what got even crazier just before we moved was, okay, well, some of the houses in the subdivision are due for new roofs because when you buy into this association every month, well, every so often they have to do a new roof or put up fencing or whatever they say they cover. All right, but if you weren't due for a roof that year, oh, well, you'll just have to wait, and if you happen to have bad weather, you can file a claim on your insurance. HOA is not going to pay for it. I mean, it is a sick and twisted little system, and they are getting away with it big time.
Yep, absolutely.
And I was just so flabbergasted at all the things that they were getting away with, and so that's how we ended up on our little 4-acre lot here in Arkansas. But I mean, my husband, born and raised in the city of Detroit, where people had 10 cars in their backyard and nobody cared.
Well, they can have chickens too. In Detroit, you can have chickens. In Chicago, you can have chickens.
Where you weren't even allowed to park your vehicle on the side of the street. Mm-hmm. So, people need to understand, though, that, like, when you move, you're looking to move somewhere, you really need to dig down, do your homework, find out what the city ordinance is. Because sometimes, like, we found a house that we really liked, but it was just inside of the city ordinance, which meant we would have to follow their rules.
Well, that's true. But what about the people that are residing on a piece of property where those rules didn't exist, and all of a sudden they are there without announcement and there's no grandfathering of any sort? What about those poor folks?
Oh, I totally agree. It's wrong because we, again, just went through this very same thing when we sold our house in Michigan. It was a 2-family home, grandfathered into the system, but when we got ready to sell it, our buyers couldn't buy it because it had a second kitchen.
Wow.
So we had to tear the kitchen out in order for our buyers to buy the house.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
I mean, it just gets that crazy because,
I think I would have advertised it as a snack room instead of a kitchen.
Well, unfortunately, it was the our buyers' lenders who, they're saying that, they were just like, because of the city's current standards, we cannot let this loan go through. And the current standard is they don't want you having two kitchens in your house.
Well,
so,
And
I mean, it is crazy how things are getting. I mean, you know, from trying to put a plant in your front yard, like you said. You're not even allowed to plant a flower?
Yeah.
well, you can plant them. They'll just come mow them down.
You know?
1984 is here.
Yeah. Got that,
It's just,
Jason.
it really is astounding how these communities are getting. And unfortunately, you have all these neighbors, and, you know, for a certain reason, I get it. Like, you know, out in the country, you've got one person who has a pristine property, and across the street, you've got the junkyard man. You know, and that's what these little communities are trying to prevent. But at the same token, they're inhibiting so much.
Well,
They're taking away so much freedom.
Yeah, the power has gone nuts.
Yes, it has.
I mean, I get it. I understand. You know, you got a nice place, and you don't want the guy right across the street to have the sway back roof that has holes in it and leaking. But I don't care what color he puts on it.
Right.
You know, just say, okay, you gotta somewhat take care of your property. If your grass is 3 foot high, you know, trim it level or something. But
yeah,
and I think everybody in this chat is in agreement with this at this point in time, anyway. But to come in and say, well, you can't capture water off your roof, and you have to you're not allowed to poop in a bucket and use it for manure on your garden, because you're not allowed to have a garden, because you're not allowed to grow your own food. That's beyond crazy.
Well, and most of the regulations that are out there, whether it's from a government or an HOA, these regulations have just made it so you really can't do regenerative stuff in general, or permacultural type stuff in general. You almost have to use the what is now being called traditional farming, but you know, the industrialized chemical farming. And I just go back to I like the way you said that. Research where you're moving, and yeah, we as a whole have to do something different. Whether it's, sorry, my dog just jumped, scared me to death. Yeah, we have to do something different, because everybody knows that the status quo isn't working properly.
Well, and I'll also interject this. When we were living in that community with the HOA, and I was trying to fight that little crap system they were offering with the whole new roof situation, I found myself coming up against other community members who were pretty much basically telling me, look, you're new here, shut up and go away. I was like, fine.
Sometimes, but you're in a better place now, right?
It be their way.
But you're in a better place now, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
See, sometimes
we're just outside of the city limits. In fact, we even ran into a situation in that aspect too. Like, we have an address for one city, but our kids are allocated to another city for that school district, and it all stands on the road right next to my house is the county line, or the drawing line that says, no, your kids have to go here.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of us are familiar with that, but again,
I'm just saying, even if you try to move out into the country, you also have to be careful, because again, the schools that my kids are allocated to go to, we wanted the school district we thought we had that matched our address. So we had to do the whole school of choice and going through the process of trying to take them out of the district they're allocated for and move them into the other one.
Yeah.
Let me throw a radical idea.
Various things you run into, and I'm just saying this because I know there are so many people looking to get out of that mess but you have to be careful. You have to look deeper than just go see a piece of property and say this will work.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it might not.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the thing is you have to be far enough out that the likelihood of it changing within your lifetime is not a high risk. I mean, where Sherry and I live right now, the property was fine when we moved here, but it has changed. It has changed. It has changed, and there's quote unquote no grandfathering. You just can't do it.
Yeah, and they did away with that just to stop anybody from fighting any of the changes they wanted to make.
Yeah.
I want to, you were talking about the school district. I want to throw kind of a radical, but not so radical anymore idea out there. And it's not for everybody, but I believe very strongly school is not a place for smart people. Can you homeschool and not even have to worry about that as an issue?
Well, I love the idea of homeschooling thing. You know, don't get me wrong. I respect everyone who chooses that path. I personally did not have the confidence to feel as though I could teach my children what the so-called school system wants them to learn to get into college. And I actually did try a semi-homeschooling curriculum, and that ended up being a nightmare. But I also, you know, I have a child who has autism, and I think going to school and learning how to be around other people is very beneficial to her. And so, but at the same time, I'm not a working parent, so my kids always have mom or dad nearby. They always hear that just because the school says this, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Well, that's important. I agree with what you're saying about the socialization being important. Special needs are not. I agree with that, and I understand the lack of confidence. Before I stepped out and started homeschooling my kids, I felt the same way. There's no way I'm going to be able to teach my high school kid at the time stuff that I excelled in school because it's been so long since I've been in school. But for us, there just came a time that we had to make a decision that we didn't want our kids actually to address something you said about what the school wants them to learn. I don't want my kids to learn a lot of what the school wants them to learn. Common Core.
Speaking in terms of academics, but I do understand where you're going because, you know, I did have my daughter. She stepped out one day because all the other kids were protesting the whole gun thing. And I looked at my daughter and I said, do you know what you're really standing up for?
Right. It's no longer a place of education.
Well, the government's going to fix that. I said, government works for us, Missy. And secondly, if someone who was dangerous still had a gun, it's not going to make a difference. And I was able to teach her that moment that says, this is where your rights are. And this is where the government is supposed to be working for us so that we are able to defend our constitutional rights. And it made sense to her. But I look at, you know, there's the social aspect, there's the educational aspect, but then, you know, I'm also able to interject with my children and be like, you know, school's for academics, not learning how to vote, so to speak.
And you said you're not smart enough to teach your own kids. Well, I think you're fine. But I'm not trying to pressure you into that. Please don't take what I said wrong. I'm a proponent of it, and I just gave you a very small snippet of why. I just was even bringing that up because of what you said about the, you know, being in one school district, thinking you were in another. And, oh, man, I get it. Anything you do with reference to the government, no matter the level of government, it's going to take 10 times as long as it should. You got to fill out your taxes. It takes too long. You got to get your kid into the right school. It takes too long. It's too hard. And nobody wants to send you in the right direction. It's just a big, if I can use a technological term that I don't even know it, it's an indeterminate loop. I think I used that right, Daryl. Chime in if I did or didn't. But I get what you're saying, and really, I'm glad to hear that you were able to get out onto a homestead and not be stuck in the city dealing with that stupidity. At least there's less stupidity to deal with.
Right. There is, absolutely. And, you know, we only have 4 acres where we are, and, you know, I would say if I could go back 3 years, I might have chosen a different property, since we live on the side of a mountain and you can't exactly plant in rocks, but we're learning. You know, and so that's another aspect of our life that, you know, when I was saying that I didn't have the confidence to teach my children, a perfect example is, you asked me to label a sentence I can't tell you, but I can write an essay. So, I mean, and I have I went through college almost obtaining an associate's degree. I know I'm not stupid, but at the same time, like, teaching even on my children's level, because of the various learning styles, visual, you know, or the hands-on, or, you know, there's the different learning styles, and I don't know if I mesh with my children like that, because, like I said, we did do like a 3-month trial run with a curriculum online, and it just ended up not well. And the girls all wanted to go back to school and be involved in band and other extracurriculars, and so I respect that.
Sure.
And I just take my opportunities to teach them outside of the school what they're not learning and they should know.
We kind of went through something similar. Mine now, I don't know whether to call him a junior or senior. He's kind of in between. He plans on graduating this year. When I first started homeschooling, he was in 5th grade. Yes, 5th grade. And the final straw, if you will, we lived in San Diego, California at the time. And you talk about homeowners associations out there, goodness gracious. But back to school. The school he was slated to go to he had to walk, and he had to cross a divided multi-lane, like I think it was 6-lane highway. I'm not going to let my kid walk to school crossing a highway in 5th grade. It's just not going to happen. As smart as he is, as mature as he is, no. So they wanted him to walk 2 miles out of the way to go to cross the same highway with crossing guards, to walk 2 miles back where he could walk a quarter of a mile from our house to get there. So that's why we pulled him out to begin with. And then I started studying other things. I'm like, oh my God, this is really what's being taught in school. I'm not going to get into that, but anyway, we went through a lot of the same stuff of we didn't enjoy the curriculum we were using. We didn't have any support. He wasn't getting the socialization, et cetera, and he wanted to go back to school. Well, the next year he's transferred to middle school, and he didn't have to cross that highway, so we let him for a while. And pretty soon it was, no, we just want to go back to this. And then we did a hybrid where he was at home regular, but a couple days a week he went into a brick and mortar place, and since then, that's just what worked for us. And I totally get going back to school or staying in school and not homeschooling. My whole point was just sometimes people just don't even think about what your other options are. In a lot of states, it's not impossible, but they make it feel like it's impossible. In fact, even illegal to homeschool your kids. And so that's just the only reason I threw that out there. I think.
Oh, yeah. And like
it's
I
got
said, I
to
have
be
the
some
utmost
good
respect
decision.
for anyone who takes on that challenge of teaching your children. You have my utmost respect. You do.
Well, thank you. I
And
appreciate that.
I feel like I can still accomplish what I want them to know without necessarily taking them away from friends or activities that they're wanting to be a part of. But, you know, everybody's got to do what works for their family, and I really feel like my daughter Caitlin does benefit from going to school.
Absolutely. I see somebody in the chat. I happen to homeschool my kids through a public school. So they're still getting a lot of the same education. I just use the K-12. And that's available in every state, and it's tailored to that state's mandates, because each state is still a little bit different. I use that for my kindergarten child. My 11th grader, 12th grader, again, however you want to call him, he goes to a school that's only in Ohio called Trecca, and it's a homeschool, but it's a public school. And what I like about that is they're still getting the education that all of their peers are getting, but I can look at it, and I am actually the one that administers it. And if I see something in there that is just flat wrong, a big example is what they're teaching now that the Second Amendment of the Constitution says. They're saying in a lot of curriculums that amendment says you're allowed as a citizen to own weapons if you're a part of the militia. Well, we all know that's not what it says, so I'm able to still teach them the public school curriculum, but teach what's actually right. I don't teach my children to do math by saying, here's your algebra, figure it out. That's what a lot of schools are doing now. I can sit down and with them and say, this is how you do it. So for me, the curriculum we use that we have quite enjoyed in the state of Ohio is the K-12 curriculum for a kindergartner. Did not like K-12 at all when we lived in California, and that's what our 5th grader used. So I think that's going to be a state-to-state thing. You're more than welcome to come over, Samantha, to one of our Facebook pages and message me there. My cousin also homeschools her children, and she does the genuine, if you will, traditional homeschool, where she picks up a curriculum from Barnes and Noble or wherever and works through it with them. And I can get the name of that one for her. She recommends it very strongly. I just don't remember what it is right now.
Jason, are you still on the line?
No,
Okay.
Jason has
Dropped off.
he's dropped off.
Okay.
Um,
Because I know they homeschool
Yeah.
their kids.
Yes, they homeschool. There's been a lot of very interesting talk come up here this evening, and I almost feel a little bit bad toward Chris, because this was supposed to be his night to shine, and we've gone off on other subjects, but they're absolutely very important subjects. And I'm gonna throw this out. I think everything we talked about here for the past 45 minutes is extremely important, and I would like to be involved in more discussions like this, but I'm not sure how to generate those discussions. But I'm going to probably get hit for this, but I'm willing to host a time for people to call in and discuss this type of thing. If people have, if we can generate, I'm going to say 50, 75, 100 people, I think
it's a great idea, because I know that there's a lot of people on the YouTube platform that aren't necessarily creators, but they have things to share, and if they can share it where in one place and people can come and discuss these things in in one place, and people can go back and watch the videos later if they have to. But I think it opens the door for people who aren't necessarily creators to be able to call in and say, here's something I learned.
Well, if you folks think that there's some merit to that and would like for us to at least let's give it a shot or something, send us an email.
Yeah, there you go. Kilted Gardner. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just send us an email, and we'll see what we could do. Maybe something that we could do it, say, once a month or once.
Yeah, earlier in the evening or on a weekend afternoon or something.
Something, yeah. And I mean, I have the ability not to only have people call in, like what we've done here tonight, but we can also have numerous people. I guess if you were here last week, you would have seen
on
that.
On the panel, yeah.
We can theoretically, I can have like 45 people at a time up here, which is probably a little bit overboard, a little nuts.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, Brian Creek. Neither do we. We don't have school age. We're empty nesters, as they say. Yeah, but we do have grandkids.
So can I enter? I'm sorry, Rebecca. Are you still online on the chat? If you are, Smudge Two Family Homestead just linked a TubeBuddy link. Would you grab that for us, please? Sorry, I just wanted to do that before I forgot. I want to start using TubeBuddy, I think.
If you just type tube in the chat, Smudge will give you that link.
On the topic of having a lot of people on I don't know the word you just said, panel, there we go. I've been watching another YouTube channel that, he brings on a lot of people on the panel, and I see that the people who are in the chat tend to get ignored because they're talking amongst themselves. Just a heads up on that.
That's all right. My opinion, anyway.
Jason, since you're back here, what curriculum do you use for homeschooling for your kids? Wonder why you can't call back.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't have it open?
Well, I have it. I shut the windows off.
Oh, is it? Do you go by subject? Is that what you do, Jason? Yeah, exactly. Kiss My Grass Acres.
The subject is school, homeschooling. That's the subject, Jason.
You may not win the next time at arm wrestling. You know that. I said meeting number no longer was valid.
It took me a minute to get that one, Daryl. It's getting late.
Yeah, it is getting late. We've been on for a couple hours here, and we've certainly taken a lot of your time.
Yeah, I think we need to do a YouTube between Jason and Daryl for arm wrestling. What do you think, Daryl? No one here, no one knows the.
Nobody knows what happened.
Cheesecake School.
Okay. Well.
Oh goodness.
So anyway, it's been a wonderful night. Chris, I'm sorry we kind of got a little bit off topic of your channel. It was your channel was.
Well, and his wife just said he could talk about this all night.
This is important stuff directly to my channel. I mean, I don't talk a lot about politics on my channel, but it's important to what we do. It's important to what each of us does on our own channels. It's important to life in general. I have no problem with it. I enjoy talking about this stuff. So you didn't offend me at all.
Okay.
I was going to say that's why I called in, because I kind of see that that's a passion of his to, again, bring back the human right and bring back the people's rights, because so much of it is getting just pecked away.
All right, for those of you that are still left in the chat, and I know that it's been dwindling here because it is getting late, send us an email as to when you might like to do this again, and we'll pass the word out, and we'll just kind of, would a day of the week that would be best, a time that might be best, at least wise to see what kind of interest we can generate as a group, and I'm certain that we can get some other big channels to push for it too.
Jason has no idea what you're talking about.
Well, that's all right. I have an inside deal with Ahmed, so.
Oh, you do? Oh, scary.
All right. So anyway, I wanted to thank everybody for being here tonight. We've kind of pushed the line here for Lomah Acres, land of milk and honey. I had so much fun making that little promo for you.
I appreciate it. It was really nice, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on here. I do know that I picked up a couple of subscribers from tonight, so that's always a good thing. I appreciate the time and the freedom to chat about whatever. A lot of channels are like, if you say something political on our channel, it's over with.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I really do. So I appreciate the freedom to speak accordingly.
And next Monday, our guests are Hamiltonville Farm.
Yeah, Hamiltonville Farm will be our guest next Monday.
Sounds good, City Girl.
Wish everybody to have a great week, and
2 weeks we'll be in Kentucky, Stivers Meetup.
yeah, Stivers meetup in 2 weeks. So,
Okay.
is there anything else? I guess I'll just leave everybody with,
Oh, Lord.
if
Here
you
we go
hold
again.
your nose, you cannot hum. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.